First of all, welcome to all, and I really appreciate and delighted to be here that we've been given an opportunity to us to explain more about the Informatica capabilities as an initial tool. And we at Edureca platform give you the kind of online training, and especially for Informatica, we've been doing well so far, and been getting a lot of people in terms of a lot of batches being already initiated. So we have been offering a couple of demos every week. So if not, you guys always being welcome to join one or another demos. Fine. So let's catch up and go ahead with a couple of things what we can do with the Informatica, and let's talk about a bit of my introduction as well. Though you already got your introduction. So let's get going, guys. Let me know. You can freeze me up somewhere if you are not able to understand me. Give me a buzz, or you can ask me a question there. You can have your question thrown by yourself, and either I can take during the presentation, or else we can take it to the next level when you do a Q&A, which is question and answer sessions. Good. So let's talk about what are the objective we'll be covering in this, what we can do after the module completes or what the demo happens. You understand Informatica and Informatica product suite. You understand Informatica Path Center Designer, workflow, and definitely a monitor. And then you have complement. We'll go for implement, aggregation, and sorting, one or two transformation in Informatica. So that's what we'll be covering in this ETL tool demo. So give you a little bit of my brief information and introduction. Actually, my name is Indrabhushan, and I'm actually Senior Informatica Technical Architect at one of the branded company, I would say an MNC, sitting in India, and I've been working across US, UK, and Australia, Africa, and Gulf. I'm an MCA 2001 batch, 2001, and I got a gold medalist in 2001. That's 2001 session we did it. I started my career with Nuclear Software, worked with the bank, Royal Bank Scotland, London, SAS, Central, HSBC, Hibbett, Gensa, Oracle, and lastly, Wipro Technologies. If you talk about a BI, I've been working in a couple of you can see that 12 technology I'm working in a Cognos, MSBI, MicroStrategy, Oracle, Pentaho, ClickView, Tableau, and so on. Whereas you say the data integration tool, Informatica is the number one, which been working for last more than 12 years. I work for Oracle Data Integrator, Talent, which is open source now, having Oracle and SQL Server as a database information and knowledge to me. Good, I have spoken enough for me. That's not required even, but let's just give an idea who is the trainer, what is his background is very important for you to know that, so that you understand the depth of the information he has carrying or she is carrying. Good. Proceeding further, so let's talk about common challenges in data integration, guys. When you say integration data, you're being actually taking a different sources and then you're integrating them at one places. So that's what the data integration is all about. Now, today, the rising complexity of the data. So today you have your lot of social media data, you have a GIS data, you got a Facebook data, you got a lot of things in terms of you got a mobile data. So it's a lot of data is coming in today. You also have the dirty data in terms of the data is not clean, it is being messed all together. How you can use them up and how Informatica can help you. Increasing business demands, so your customer or else your management need and demands couple of more reports, which is not their industry today. How Informatica can really help you in to achieve those, that's most important steps. Cost effective and high standard enterprise data integration, that's what is the most needed today in the industry to look into, and that's what the Informatica also comes up with. Guys, so let's talk about Informatica as a product company, which is being founded in 1993. So today, if you talk about 2005 revenue, going to be 1.06 billion. That's what being already 12 months, ending March 31st, 2015 revenue. If you can see that 7-year annual 30% per year growth, employee going to be 5,500 plus. Partners 450 measure. They're an SI or kind of resellers or maybe educational partner across the world. Informatica himself are being directly available in 82 countries, and they got more than 5,000 customers over the world, over the globe. So let's talk about what Informatica has as a product suite, as a product family. So first important, which is most popular as Informatica Corporation, is your data integration and ETL tool. They also have information lifecycle management, a complex event processing, data masking, data quality, data replication, as well as they also have data virtualization, master data management, and ultra messaging. That's the what they got all together kind of products available. So let's see how really you can really look into them one by one. So you can see that they got it, B2B data exchange. They got application ILM. They got a cloud. They got a data quality complex event and also master data management. And believe it or not, enterprise data integration. So this is most important part where you can see all of them how the Informatica we've been using in. So Raghu has a problem. Are you sharing the screen? I said yes, Raghu. I am sharing the screen. I think a lot of people are shared. I've already seen that. Guys, somebody else can really give me a buzz whether you guys can see my screen. A team. Raghu say he can't see that screen. Anybody else in the team right now? Pinaki says yes. Chaitanya says yes. So Raghu, there's a problem in your system. You can log out and log in again to take a look once again. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. Just to going ahead, what we're being already talking about. So we're talking about a product family of the Informatica. So let's talk about a bit of them. What kind of products and what are the projects we can probably do with the Informatica? So if you see, it can be any user, any project, any environment. So that's very kind of a platform which Informatica platform gives you. When you say any user, that means they talk about a business analyst, architects, developer, and steward. So data steward is one of the guy who actually identify a data, what kind of data, what category of the data. Business is going to be a actual business user. Analyst who do these data sciences, actually they have a data science. Architect who design them, like I'm a solution architect, I design the solution. For that is Informatica can be used. And developer, as when you become a developer, you have to do a lot of development overall in Informatica. So you being also one of the user of Informatica products, PowerCenter. If you say projects, analytics, application to application, business to business, data migration, data quality, big data, and master data management, and a couple of more projects you can still run with the Informatica PowerCenter. Having said that, the environment is free. They can be departmental, they can be enterprise. So it can be distributed and enterprise both. As I said, Informatica is very much available today on cloud and being very popular too. Hadoop, which is being using Informatica for big data, HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system environment where you can do the data in a different nodes and then your embedded data. So that's what we talk about a kind of environment. Now, PowerCenter is basically, if you see, it's going to be end-to-end integration platform, and the PowerCenter Enterprises converts a raw data into a kind of analytical and more processed form of the data, which really have kind of information from the data coming from different sources. If you talk about lifecycle management, it basically talks about how a kind of an organization grow with the data, and those data have been growing day by day, and how you can manage them up, that's most important. So information lifecycle management is one of the tools where you can really talk about how the information can be processed in one life cycle to another. So Ram Shankar is saying that he can't hear me out. Ram, is it fine? Are you able to hear me now? Okay, give me a buzz. Try reconnecting 1 second if you can't hear me out. Thank you very much. And then you got a complex event processing, which is a rule-based complex event processing software. Then we have a data masking. So probably you do not want a data physically coming to the customer or vendor. You mask the data so that you can hide the actual data and you give them a kind of encrypted data to the customer or vendor to work with. The important is data quality. You need to clean your data, which is a junk. You have to go for a main size, data formatting, profiling, and everything comes in your data quality. Data replica is basically kind of a duplicate data from production to any real-time environment to the non-real-time environment database. Data virtualization is actually kind of a scalable architecture for both data integration and federation. Creating a virtualization, which does not mean you're taking a data from source to a target. It does not load the data from source to target, but it do all the complex query at one virtual layer. Master data management actually is being used for a product family that deliver consolidated and reusable business critical data known as a master data. For example, product code is being a lot of duplicates. You can see that. Customer code, you can see a lot of duplicates. So the master data management gives an opportunity to those maps all these duplicates codes and create one of the important product code. And messaging, as we talk about, is basically a next generation low latency messaging product, which really go for push methodology of data. Okay, that's cool. So look, let's talk about more from a PowerCenter perspective. It is a single unified data integration platform that really gives you an opportunity to execute and load the data, and it basically have a governance related to your source flowing data from target to your towards the business. So, having said that, is one tool gives you kind of opportunity to you can go ahead and do the most from a data loading. You do the cleansing, you do the transformation and load. So ETL, so that's the terminology we use. Each for extract, T for transform, and L for load. So when you say extract, you're actually reading a source system. When you say transform, you get the data and you massaging the data. You can have an aggregation, you can have a min max, sorting, and other stuff, and then loading to your target table. That's what the load is. Having said that, this is a very robust tool, and basically they comes into Unix and Windows environment both. It is very easy to read and write from source to target. So that's the benefit you have. It's a very user-friendly tool, I would say. So PowerCenter history, if you can see that today going to be 9.6.1. That's the 2015 as February, the current version is. And then you have a lot of things coming in SOA, which is a service oriented architecture. A lot of people may not be knowing it. So it's a kind of a services oriented architecture where you can start and stop the services of Informatica. For more, you can visit to informatica.com for any kind of information you need more. Further, try to go and explore more for the Informatica, what are the products, how the company is doing, and so on. So Chatan is asking, since we have many ETL tool, when it's the right time, can you please explain Informatica is edge dominant? Yes, Informatica is dominant. There's one important thing is user friendly. That's number one. Number two, it gives a lot of opportunity for a kind of transformation, which has a couple of transformation along with that. If you have a Java background, you still use a Java background to do a Java transformation. It has partitioning. It has a push down concepts. It has a parallelism. There's so many features which other tools does not even offer. So there would be competitive environment. If you can do more from a Googling, you'll get more. So as of now, I can give you a lot of features not other tool does not even exist that. I hope I can give you a short answer of Chaitanya. Give me a yes or no if you have understood. Thank you very much for confirming me back. Let me know, you guys, if my speed is okay or you want me to be a little slow down in that, or is that okay for you guys? Can you really hear me out loud and clear? I'm just trying to understand if my sound is okay for you guys. Are you really can hear me out? Can you really understand what I'm saying? Manoj says yes. Okay. Thank you, Manoj, for confirming it back. Good. Swapnili also says yes. Thank you, Swapnili. Mr. Kalale is saying also good. Fine. Thank you very much for everybody for giving me a good confirmation. I was really expected this integrated session and very interaction. Good. So let's talk about one unified architecture, how Informatica looks like. So these are the provider and these are the consumer. You can see that the left side provider means this data coming from a different source system. It can be XML, it can be web services, it can be packaged application like SAP modules or Oracle financial modules. Those are packaged applications. And then relational, which is Oracle or SQL Server, any databases, DB2, Teradata, and also a flat file like a CSV, XLS, text file, XML files, right? Then you also have a mainframe data coming in. So you take this data, do all your ETL and get your consumers. You can get data putting for a portal dashboards and also for XML. You can read the data from flat file and create the XML. Read the data from the tables and create an XML. So it's pretty open and in a platform independent kind of tool where it gives you end-to-end authority to go and develop whatever you want. Now let's talk about what PowerCenter has a product of administrator. You got a services, you got a client. So I'll show you the product services in the Power Center, where we have administrator who manages and administrate for entire product, whether it's a user, server, repository management, and so on. Now let's talk about a service framework. As I said, it's a service-oriented architecture, based upon. So you got a repository service, you got integration services, and you also got a web services. So these are the three services. Along with that, you also have SAP warehouse services. So you got four services which is being Informatica offers with. Now you can see that a repository as a database. So you create a repository which is a metadata. So metadata is nothing. It's basically information about the data. What is the table name? What is the column name? What is the size? So those all things you keep it in one table, or those actually part of one database. Now you can see the Power Center client. So these are the client tools are basically installed in your PC, which helps you to do a design, which is a designer to manage, where you can do a manager, a workflow manager, and also monitor whatever you already made a workflow. You can manage and see that monitoring. Monitoring means it's running, failing, successful, or failure, and whatever it comes up. So you can still see them and make the modification if needed. Now, having said that, I'll not take much of your time in more in detail. So let's talk about a couple of tools. You got R for repository, D for designer, W for workflow, a kind of manager, and M for monitor. And this is what is a browser for the administration. And here you got repository to access with repository services and again integration services. Both works for the repository on the base of repository. So there's a client component and there's a service component, client server component. This is more from a server side. This is more from the client side, guys. As we already said, these are the name. Okay, how Informatica architecture works. That's the most important part, my dear friends, which you have to understand thoroughly before going Informatica as the usage. First important aspect, you will have your domain. So when you install an Informatica server, by default, it has one domain. So you can have a multiple domains and multiple node configuration. As of now, you will have one domain and couple of nodes. So there would be single node and the gateway node which communicates to each other. Whereas now you can see integration services, repository processes coming from a repository as a database, and then you got a domain as a metadata. So you got two of the database, one concept of domain information, whereas other is the actual table name, mapping, workflow, everything as a repository, which is being done by repository processes and repository services being accessed by these client tools. So you got this is a repository manager, designer, workflow, and monitor. I'll show you just now. Whereas you can see there are source and you can see there are targets. Source and target can be either accessed by native ODBC driver or a normal ODBC connectivity. So over that, the connection between the clients and the server done by TCP/IP protocol and also HTTPS protocol if needed for the administration side. You can see at the right side. So that's from the overall architecture point of view, my dear friends. Now let's talk about a designer, how it looks like and what we can do from them. So we'll start getting into practical and I'll show you more about that. So let's be more practical here, guys. Okay, so before going further, let me show you how Informatica would look like when you do the installation. So here is the folder. You can see that you got a server, you got a client. So you click on server and click on the home page. So that's what your Informatica home page will coming in, which is a browser. Just now you saw at the architecture level, which is here. Or if you go to the top, this is what is the browser level. So we'll able to show you what is the administration looks like, not in detail, but give you 1 or 2 minutes and information how it looks like, and what is probably will not take you much of a time, just to give you an idea how it should be looking in. So this is the portal you can see here. You click in administrator and administrator, that's the user ID password I do carry. While installing, you'll probably need to enter them up, keep remember it, or you can write in somewhere else to have futuristic use. So good. So this is an administration tool. So here you can see that manage of your passwords, preferences, and so on. Being an administrator, what you can do that. So you can also have an alert, which is an email comes up to you. Now you got a domain, logs, monitoring, reports, security, and cloud. So as the cloud says, it's basically connectivity of your application sitting here to your cloud organization. Domain talks about your domain, nodes, repository, integration services, and so on. Whereas logs is basically the actual log happening, whether it's an error, a kind of a warning, and whatever log is being created, whatever your action you do, it creates the logs there. So any error, any things you gets up, it comes up the all logs. You got a service, you got a domain. So there's a different kind of logs for all of them. So all logs, and you can figure out it gets all the logs for a domain for all the services as well. Fine. So this is the last day, and you can say last month. So this is what has been, you can filter them up if needed. Anyway, monitoring, how you've been monitoring between the couple of domains and nodes. So you can see that. Reports, you can create the reports top of your kind of kind of a management which you're doing it for the reporting from the metadata itself. Security is very much important, guys, where you can define your user groups, policies, roles. You can see that it has a dev, UAT, administrator, 3 of the user. You can define a group where you can give a read write permission. You have a roles. So roles is a combination of privileges which you have been already defining here. So this is the custom roles, and this is the system defined roles. And then you got a permission out of it. So you also create a permission. Good to go, guys. Coming back to the domain, give you 2 more minutes to understand. So domain is actually a D. So domain is basically created here. In the property, you can have more. It is based on your SQL Server. So we've created one. As if you come to the, one more slide back. Okay. So just to give you here. So this is the domain which you have created. So one database for domain information, which has a domain and number of nodes coming in. Now next is your node. Node is actually, domain is an Informatica server. Node is a physical server of your actual database, or basically kind of a Informatica server works on the node itself, and that node is connected with your repository manager and so on. Here is a 6005 is the actually kind of a default port. This is the PC name, and this is the backup area, just to let you know. Then you got repository, my dear friends. So this is a repository which has been created, and that's the repository as a database. It is again connected to one of your schema, which is SQL Server for that matter. We should have a license to get you more information. As I'll talk about more in license. So repository based on which node. So you can have any repository on any node. Nothing very specific, but you have to do your management for yourself. Integration services is actually a kind of an engine which exactly you have a metadata, what mapping you're doing it, and will show you how it really works upon. Now you got a licensing, my dear friend. So as of now, you can see it's a never expire licensing. It's actually a non-expiry. It's basically on production, and this has 14 CPUs can support and 255 as a repository. You can create that. So that's all from this Informatica administrator concept. So let's close it up for a while. You may not be doing much of them, so you simply say log out. Let's come back to show you a couple of databases and the other stuffs. So Mr. Kalala is saying it is compulsory to work for only the SQL Server database. No, Mr. Kalala, it's been Oracle and a couple of other databases. I'm going to use the Oracle just to show you. So repository I've created in a SQL Server, but perhaps I'm going to work for Oracle as a database. Will that okay to give you the answer, Mr. Kalala? Thank you very much. Well, let's go get into more from the, so let's go and show you the other tools, which is a client tool. So you have an Informatica folder which the client comes up. So Power Center client, you can see this. So here is all the, we talk about all the client tools. So let's click on the repository manager. What repository manager does? It's actually creating your metadata management. So you'll have your, repository. I have got administrator and administrator to connect with. So the moment you connect, you can see all the folders coming in, and each folder you can see here, the structure remains same to other structure. See that source, target, mapping, everything looks same if you can just do a comparison of other folders, because that's the skeleton which normally Informatica works with. So you go and also create a folder. For that matter, let's create one of the folder. I'm saying this Informatica demo. That's what the name I have. I can give a permission here. As of now, I'm putting an administrator. That's fine. So I click it to OK, and that's perfectly fine. So you can have this Informatica demo. You can see that. Okay, just to show you again a bit of more information. So all the things you create there, it will be part of here. It comes up here itself. So it is a repository management as for administration. Swapnil asked a question: for any job role related to Informatica, do you need to know programming language like Java and C? Not exactly, not recommended, guys. It is a misperception, but you should have some flavor of database knowledge. You should know what is primary key, what is relationship. I hope that makes sense to you, Swapnil. You understand that? It do not need any Java and C++. It's a data loading, it's a ETL. So you know what is database, source, migration, other stuff. Thank you very much for confirming. Good, I'm getting good question. Interesting. I always like interactive session, guys. It's been good. So let's go and connect with this Informatica demo. I can see all the tools coming in here. I'll click in the designer sitting here itself. I need not to go and connect somewhere else. Good. So let's show you what all you have it in the designer. See, let's see that folders, all the folders are coming in. So I'm working for one of our folder called Informatica demo. So you can see everything is the same structure as you can see the other one as well. This looks like a similar. So what we're going to do is, let me show you, this is a workspace where you're going to work more. This is the output window. This is a, kind of a navigator, and this is the folder you have selected. So you can also change the folder if needed. All right. At the same time, you can go back to your own demo. So you can go to your folder specific. Now let me tell you, you got a source, you got a target, and you got a kind of a mapping. So these three things here you're gonna work most of your time. So that's what the area. I think Pankaj says one of the question. It's more like load phase cannot see track stack transform load. Yes, we'll do that, Pankaj. I'll show you here how we can do connect with the database, read the database, and load the data. Make sense to you, Pankaj? Good. Amit says, should I go with Talent or Informatica? First of all, you should go for Informatica because Talent going to be open source. There are a lot of challenge to understand. It's a Java-based kind of application. It is not too much of user-friendly as Informatica is, even though it's kind of open source. But people are still, they have been going slowly. They are not being very fast as Informatica. Informatica is very user-friendly tool, to be very honest. Thank you very much. Okay, good. Having said that, let's come and show you how it really works. What are the things? We'll show you two more aspect of kind of a workflow manager and this monitor. I have already connected a database called a sample DB, which is Oracle database in my case. Okay, let me show you my tables. So guys, you can have all the tables coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, so when you click on source, what happens? You can have a source. Either you can import table directly from a database, or you can import from a flat file, COBOL file, or XML file as a source. Right? You can also create the source. I'll get it done from one of the database table from the ODBC connectivity. I need to go and create one of the ODBC connections here at the system. You can see that I've created Oracle. And then you go for a database user which you have been already created with. So my user ID created is called sample DB. I'm going to create them sample DB, sample DB. So it's already created, my dear friend. You have to go and create the ODBC connectivity before coming in here, before connecting it. And you should have an Oracle client at your PC if you're using a client PC, not from a server then. So let's talk about, I have an employee table and department table. You can use multiple with the control if you shift them. Click OK. The moment you come click OK, what happens? It's actually taking a metadata information from your database to your Informatica as of now. So you can see here, you can say minimize. So you say iconized. So here is actually two of the table, and now you can see the relationship is already there because department table and employee table has the relationship master and detail. Okay. The moment you insert, if you go to repository manager, still you can't see anything in your source. You can't see anything here. So moment you click Control S, what happens is actually inserted to your folder. You can see here the source is coming in. Here you still can't see that. What you can do is you click it here and go for refresh. The moment you say refresh, it gives you the data. So see that this is a repository manager where you manage your repository. You can say copy, paste, export, import. We'll show you how we'll do that. So this you can do most of the things here, and actually this is only for a management, whereas here you will do the actual designing. So 90% work we're going to do here, my dear friends. Let's talk about target. So I want to use a target. I want to create a shortcut. So there's one way I can create one of the target. If I say drag and drop here, it gives me a shortcut and creates the same structure. You go ahead and rename it. I'll say, okay, I want to say a target. I say TRG. I say demo, or maybe I say webinar demo. Let me rename once again, my dear friend. So I will say webinar and demo employee. So that's the table name I'm going to give. You can see that there's a database type Oracle. So here we can use the Oracle database. I got a columns, which is the same column we have, and the order indexes if possible. Click it OK. The moment you say Control S, sorry, it's actually coming in your folder. If you can refresh it here, that does not mean this is actually coming in your database. Not yet. You may not be saying TRGW something something something. You may not be having this name. You may not be having this name. So what is next you have to do is, my dear friend, you have to go and create that same table at your backend. So you select them up, go to the target. You can see that you have already set a created. Either one way you can drag and drop, or else you can create here. Now what I'm saying is I'm going and generate the SQL. I'm trying to generate the SQL, the new. I'll say create table, primary key and all. First of all, I need to connect with the sample DB. I have Oracle. So sample DB is what I'm connecting with. The moment you connect it, it says connected. You can say it's ready. Now I say generate and execute. So click and generate and execute. What happens? If you see here at this output window, guys, you can see what it does is actually creates the table, create table here. Now let me show you the table is being there in the backend or not. Okay, come on. It should be there. Let's refresh it first. Right? So let's talk about TRG. That's what we're saying. TRG. Okay. So TRG is here. Let's talk about TRG department, TRG, employee. Here we go, guys. This is what the table I was looking for. So I'm going to simply drag and drop here. So this is the table was not at all existing earlier. It is we have just created from Informatica, my dear friend, and then which has no data at all. So I'm going to load this table as a target and the mapping. So that's what you have a table. Control S. It is already being stored in the repository. So moment you say Control S, it is actually inserted into repository tables. That's fine, guys. You got a source, you got a target. Now let's go and create one mapping. So you can see that the target is there, source is very much available. Now let's go and create the mapping here. So I'll go and create the mapping with the new name. The standard gonna be MP for mapping. I'm saying EMP, load. That's what I'm saying, or loading rather. So this is the target name. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my table from here with drag and drop employee table, right? Not doing anything else. I'm simply going to arrange it by iconic so it can easy to readable. Okay, I can simply drag it up. So you got a source qualifier and description. Source qualifier is one of the transformation actually, guys. Give you more information if needed. I'll give you just make it short and simple. Take a target and download here. Though the column name looks like almost similar, you select this right button and say select all. Drag it to the employee number. So you can see that this is what the kind of joining, a kind of a mapping you're doing. Click here, go for iconic. See that this is a complete iconic look. Control S. The moment you say Control S, you go to repository manager, refresh the map, you will still get a mapping coming here. See that this is all mapping here. So a mapping also talks about what are the source, what are the transformation, and what you can see it here. Okay, good. Now next, you have a source, you got a target, you got a mapping. Let's run it and see that the data should be coming in my database. As of now, it's blank. So you got a workflow manager where you create the flow of the mapping which you've created for the execution of data load for ETL. Right, guys? We are good to go. We have Informatica demo. I'll close the other folders, need not to get into. Sorry. So now we have to go and create. You can see that task developer, workflow designer. So we'll go for task developer. We create a reusable task. I got a session. So I'm saying SS. employee loading, for example. So the moment you say create, it'll ask you the mapping. Now you got only single mapping as of now, employee loading. Click OK. That's done. Okay. To give you one of the prerequisite, guys, you have to go and create the connection to execute this map. Now we got a source and the target. So let's talk about, I'll show you something source. Actually, this is the same Oracle DB which you are using. It's sample DB. That's fine. Going to the session, what you can do is you have session, always go and check the mapping and the connection is recommended and the best practices is. You got a source. I have a source. I'll go and select the source one. Okay, guys. Now we got a target table. So here what I'm going to do is we have a bulk, we'll make it a normal. Just to give an idea, normal you can roll back, whereas a bulk you cannot do a rollback because once it's kind of a commit, it cannot be rolled back, whereas a transaction does not has the redo log file in terms of a bulk load, honestly speaking. And you say truncate table load option, it truncates data first, it truncates complete table and loads the data. That's all. So this is what this session I'm control S inserting the workflow. I'm in the session. Now let's go and create a workflow, guys. I'll go and create a workflow. The moment I create workflow, I say WRKFL. That's the lead. I'm saying employee, loading. That's the name. As of now, it was a session. Now here is the actual start workflow. Take this session here and drag it to the workflow space. You have to link it by a link task from a start to this, and you good to go. Control S. If you go to the repository manager, you can see that if you refresh it very much, what it gives to you, it gives you the mapping and then also a workflow with the session, what you've created. So as of now, you created a new folder, had a source, target, mapping, session, workflow. Good, guys. Now let's see how data loads up. Click a try button, say start workflow. The moment you say click start workflow, it opens the workflow monitor, guys. You can see here, let's talk about look for a Gantt chart view. So here you can see the statistics of the source and target. So let's see what has happened. It's saying in progress, is already running, my dear friend. So it's going to take the data from the employee table source. Can you see that? You got a source, you got a target, 13 row each. So as of now, you shown at the beginning there was no data. Now let's go and execute that. Guys, bingo, you got the data here. The same data as we have the employee table. So let me go ahead and create and show you the data of the employee. Is it the same data showing it, or is maybe something else? Guys, it's exactly same data, 13 rows and then 13 rows as you saw right here, and the statics also say 13 and 13. Okay. So that's how you use a complete workflow monitor manager. So I'll just explain you once. Repository manager is basically for repository management. So that's what is important here. So if you can see this workflow, right? So this is the workflow you created. So the moment you go for workflow, it gives you everything. It basically uses your export and import. You can export as an XML and you can import as XML back to the folder. Good. So good to go. You have a designer which you already done. You have created a source. You have to put it a target, and then you had a map. Now let's talk about one or two transformation more, guys. So I'm going to use one of the table which is employee table, and then I have a department wise total salary which I want to see how much salary I'm paying per department. Sorry. So let's take it another use case, guys. Okay, as of now it has the data. So do one thing. It's very simple. Let's take it out all the data from here. I'll say truncate table. Okay, guys. Let's delete that. We should not have any data here. Perfectly fine. No data coming in. So let's go ahead. You already have the employee table. You have to import in target one of the table, which is the department total. Go to the target, import from database. As usual, you have Oracle. Here's the sample DB. Okay. Sample DB. Because you have a source, you don't have a target table, so you need to import them up here at the target section, my dear friend. So I'm saying department wise the total salary, that's the table I'm looking for, my dear friends. Here we go. So you can see that importing prime key, foreign key, these are status says here. And the moment you logged in, you simply say Control S. You can also see the data from here. You can preview it from the data. So you simply get that credential of database connectivity, and what, believe it or not, it'll show you the data as well sitting at the Informatica. It does not load data internally, but it only shows the metadata, whereas it connects the database and it shows you the data here. Good. Now if you see preview, you already deleted the data. As of now, you will not see anything. It's blank. Okay, good to go. So you got a source, you got a target. Let's create a new mapping, guys. So I'm going to do is something like MP small MP. I'll say, something like employee department wise total salary. I would say paid. Good, makes sense. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to import them here. So you got whenever you drag it out, you got definition and source qualifier. Definition is only in one definition of the source, where the qualifier is the expression and kind of expression you can use it. It's a transformation where if you go to the property, you can also override the select query if you want, or else you have a join, you have a filter, and so on. So that's the reason it's known as a transformation, guys. Now let's talk about a department wise as a target. So that's good to go. I can simply close out source and target. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one of the transformation, guys, sitting here. I use an aggregated transformation. So I'll write transformation, the shortcut AGGR. That's the name I'm putting in. Okay, cool. Here what I'm do, I'll select all and drag it to the AGGR. I'll minimize the first one, not required, and then even though I don't need all of them, I need only a department wise total salary. So what I'm do is I'll go, you can see that here you can either create the port or either you can delete the port. Port means actually a column, to be very honest. Informatica treated as port as a column. So I don't need employee number, I don't need these all, I need only a salary, and I need only a department number. Good. I'll go and create. So in this scenario, I don't need a salary to be out. So we got in, out, and V, input, output, and variable port. So input, the column coming in, output if you want to use for any other transformation. I do not need to go for a salary for an output port. I'll create one more port, and you can just simply take it down. I'm writing department total, my dear friend, a total department, or maybe that's good if you write a department wise total salary, my dear friend, salary paid. That's the variable name. It is gonna be the integer if you want. I as of now will take an integer or the decimals for that matter. Okay, I'll take it for 2, and then I'll take it. I think if you talk about 2 is enough as of now. Now here I'll not take an input, I'll take as an output where I can go and do some kind of expression, whereas also if you do a group by department, you're doing a department wise summary. What I'm going to do is you have the actually functions. You can see here you got an aggregation function, click an aggregation, you got a sum function here, and what you want to do a sum, these are the ports, so you're doing a sum on a salary. Click on validate, it gives you good or bad. So if you write anything here, it will not even validate them. See that it's giving an error. So the moment you're writing something else, it will give an error. So you need to simply validate them. It's the best practices to see whether you're good or bad. Now you say apply. You believe it or what you're doing, salary is not output, only the input for this department wise paid salary, department number, and also department salary, whereas department is group wide. Cool. What I need is, I don't need, you can see that 2 of the port coming in, 2 of the port going out, whereas the salary, if you drag it here, it will not drag anything because it's not an output port. Whereas if you take department, yes, it can be ported here, department wise salary, this is the total salary. Good to go ahead, guys. Control S. Okay, so I've shown you how to create a workflow session here. Let's talk about a shortcut, my dear friends. I'll give you one of the shortcut which Informatica gives you, right? For example, you have a mapping. I want to create shortcut. I don't want to go with the workflow altogether. Go and select and say generate workflow. The moment you say generate workflow, it gives you the non-reusable workflow. Click it next, 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 nothing else. Click it finish. It is already saved. The moment you finished, go to the workflow. What you need to do is, because the repository is not got refreshed, you simply say disconnect and you open that once again the window. I'm in the folder. So the moment you go ahead and see that, this is what the workflow is created by you. Drag it to the workflow space. saying, do you want to copy? Actually, this is you have to either give me a second. It is actually there. No problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply disconnect it first, and then I'm connected for the depository to get the actual. Guys, that's perfectly fine. So you need to refresh them up. You got an Informatica demo. You can see that it's already very much available. Go to the tool and you got a designer, and then you can simply drag it out here. So the moment you say Control S, it saves the repository which is already saved. Go and see that this time the workflow session, everything is created, my dear friend. You have a session here, right? Same we did it before manually. Now it is created by the Visual itself. Good to know. Double click, my dear friend, go and see the mapping. The source is very much available. You go and select the source one. You also select the target. So I'm taking a normal, this type of bulk. I'm not going for bulk load, and then you got a truncate option and then aggregator. So this is the aggregator where you've been using the aggregate to do that. So let's click OK and let's run it, guys. Go and start. You can delete them or you can close them up if you don't need it. It will open it again, or else you can open your own. So it's being already having buffer, it's not opening it. So you can simply click it here. The moment you click it here, it's actually getting all. Double click here, you can say Informatica demo. Double click here, you see that it's being already coming in. So it's saying it's succeeded. So this is what is actually talking about more from a kind of a data. So you can see this is the workflow, this is the session. So it talks about this total is 13 rows and the target has 3 rows. So there would be 3 department having employees, and that's what. So you already truncated before. Now let's run the data, and here we go, guys. 10, 20, 30. So you got department wise a salary, group by department number. Good to go. So not taking much of your time, guys. That's what I can say at this stage. So this is what we can do in Informatica side from the, I'll give you one more which is very smaller. I'm going to use it here. So you can see that you already having, kind of a aggregator, and you having this, your department. So what I'm going to do more is I'll just twist a little bit, not much. Having the time is already, okay, it's already done. So what I'm doing is I'm simply taking out this, or I can do as of now the data is coming 10, 20, 30, which is ascending. I'm saying the salary, which is the maximum salary I'm paying as of now, it is actually a maximum. So let's talk about something to ascending, descending order. We can take it the descending order of your department. What I'm going to do is there's something like sorting. So you'll do a sorting of your kind of the data, right? That's something called a sort. You click it here from this. You take 2 of the input. So you taking an input like a salary, and then the input you need is department number, my dear friends. Only 2 input, correct? So I'll go to the property, and within the property I'm saying the port is there. I'm saying what? I'm going to go for a key, which is the descending order of your department number. That's all I'm looking for. And then this department number goes department number at this, and then the salary goes to this. That's all. So I'm using 2 of your data. Now the moment you make changes here, guys, what you have to do is you already made changes in workflow, need not to create everything. You go and click refresh mapping. The moment you say refresh mapping, this tickle comes up. You simply say Control S, and it made the changes, my dear friend. What I'll do, I'll simply go and truncate the data once again, my dear friends, so that you can see that data is not there and you can load fresh. So the moment I'll go ahead and I can restart from here, despite of again rerunning it. It restarting it, and it will say it's running altogether. Now it's saying 13 and 3. Let's see. The output which I'm looking for is this descending order. Guys, it's going to be actually taking something, ascending and descending order from department number. So it's already, the data is being already done by the aggregation is already done, the ascending order itself. So it is not impacting because it's more or less the descending is already done on the, I would say the the salary level, the total salary level. So what we can do is we can go ahead and take this out. Can you see this? I'm going to take this out for a while. I'll delete this movement. I don't need them up, guys. I'm going to use it here. Fine. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take department number, guys. just selecting it here, and then I go to salary. That's fine. The moment I do the complete data which is being already done, I want to get my sorting done after this. Okay, so what I need to get this department number and the salary. That's what two things I needed, and then same it goes to department number, and this goes to the department salary. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the port and I say departments. If you can go for a salary wise, let's talk about ascending or descending. Let's talk about ascending. Cool. So as of now, it's saying this is descending order, my dear friend. So I'll truncate this just to give you again a few more idea. Okay. Arrange this. So I'm using sorter after the aggregation. Once the data is aggregated, then you sort it. I go and refresh the mapping as usual because we made a change. Control S, and it goes to this. Having said that, a couple of things you can try when you have Informatica running at your place. So here the indexing works more or less from the string side and numeric side both. Now let's see what is the data coming in, my dear friends. See that ascending order has worked up. So you're saying 8,450, 10,000 and 1,300. So guys, you can see this salary. What I've done the aggregation first, and then I'm sorting it after the aggregation, and then we're putting into the target table. So this is what we were supposed to doing it. So you saw repository. So you do one thing, you refresh them up. The moment you say refresh, you can have, see that two of the session is also there, one. Now there's only one because there's a repeating of the reusable session. You got a mapping. You can simply close them up. That's all. So this is we're talking about kind of Informatica. So guys, not to take much of your time, I really appreciate and thank you very much for being here. I would really would love to go and get some of the questions done, guys. So we are done from the demonstration point of view. So this is all we've been already doing in so far. You can see that now we'll do more or less from the question and answer session. If you guys have any question where we can talk about more detail, so that's why we talk about aggregator and sorter. So can we have any question, guys? I would appreciate your time. That definitely you guys have taken a lot of your time to think, and you saw what is actually the kind of Informatica is coming in. So guys, any question from your side? I would be happy to help you guys. Good. So I think we're good to go for the demonstration perspective. It's been already done from Informatica, how it looks like, and you must have seen how the Informatica has a designer capabilities, whereas you got a repository manager, workflow manager, and also the monitor. So to manage how it's been happening. Any question? I still gonna wait for you guys to give me a kind of a question. So Raghu says, how many sessions will you take to finish the course? Well, it's going to be 10 to 12 session, Raghu's. It's going to be 16 of the modules, and those 16 modules has to cover in 30 to 40 hours in between, along with the small project you'll be doing towards the end of the session. So every module have assignment and quiz as well as the end. I'll show you to give you an answer pretty much. I have this presentation with me. So any one of them I'll show you. You can see that all of this kind of modules. So just to show you, this is what is the module looks like. See that Informatica, then you got fundamental, Power Center, workflow, transformation, parameters, cache, and all of them is there. So this is all is a 16 module. We complete them in 30 to 40 hours. Is that answer your question, Raghu? Good. Thank you very much for asking this question. Anybody else can ask any question if you have anything where you can really help you with. Good. Seems like people are okay with this demonstration today, and so please feel free to ask me a question if you have. Else we'll wind up for today's class. We appreciated your time, guys. It has been pleasure, and honestly speaking, it's been very interactive session. We are seeing people coming and asking questions. It is very helpful to interact with each other. Thank you very much for your time and patience, and you being very patient while I was talking and giving the demonstration. Ask a question, few of them, which is very happy and healthy. Looking forward to see you guys in a couple of the batches of ours, and we'll definitely help you more from the What is the basic requirement for the training? Mr. Kalra, the basic requirement would be only to get you have some database information, some knowledge of database, and that's good to go. So once again, guys, thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead. And people from US must be having day started or maybe an afternoon there. So please take your day and be healthy. Connect with your family. Do take a time. Think of Informatica session and come back with your joining us soon. Thank you very much once again. And again, I'm delighted to give an opportunity from you guys. You've given such a beautiful opportunity to talk about Informatica as a tool and from the Edureka platform to show you much of this demonstration. Once again, thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead. Be healthy. Keep in touch. Take care.